Hey everyone, welcome back to new series of Python. In today's video, we will discuss about the Python membership and identity operator. So there is a large set of Python operator that can be used on different databases. Sometimes we need to know if a value belongs to a particular set. This can be done by using the membership and identity operator. So first, we are going to discuss about the Python membership operator, and the membership operators are used for testing the membership of an object in a given sequence. It can be a string, list, or tuple. So Python offers two membership operators to check or to validate the membership of the value, and they are as follows. That is the in operator as well as not in operator. And the very first that we're going to discuss about is the Python in operator. The in operator is used to check if a character or substring or the elements exist in a sequence or not, which means that it returns true if the value exists in a sequence and it returns false if the value doesn't exist in a sequence. So here you can find the syntax, that is the value in sequence. Now let's consider an example. Let's say that we have a variable called company and it has got a value that is Cybrosys. So let me use the variable over here. Let's say the value is Cybrosys. So here you can find the sequence of value as we are just using a string. That is, we have a sequence of characters and the sequence of character is definitely known as a string, right? So we just need to check a particular element or a character is present over here or not. So basically, in order to get or print that, we use as the print function so that we will get the result in the console. So I'll be using the print function, and from this, I just want to check whether the element E or the substring or the character E present in company. Okay, so we know the string Cybrosys is stored in company, right? So here we just need to check that whether this element is present in company. So you can provide your element over there and we will be using the in operator. And from where we have to check this, we know that we have stored the string Cybrosys under company. So you can give the name company over here. Now let's run this file. So here you can see that as we just consider the string Cybrosys, here we don't have an element or a substring or a character called E in it. So we just got the result as false. Now let me change it into C. So as you just run the file, here you can find we have just got the result as true because C exists in Cybrosys. Or we can say that C is a character or element or substring of Cybrosys. So which can be easily accessed from the variable company, right? Now let's move on to the Python not in operator. So not in operator is nothing but it returns false if the value exists in a sequence, else it returns true. So let's consider the same example itself, that is company is equal to Cybrosys. Okay, so if you want to just copy this, you can just copy this line and you can just paste it over here, or you can just consider that itself. Okay, so for the time being, I have copied over here. And now let me just go with the example. We can just use a print function. So I'm going to use the element C. I just need to check C not exist in Cybrosys or not. So C not in company. Okay, and if I run this, the result will be false. This is because we know C is an element or a substring or a character which is present in Cybrosys. So you will just get the result as false over there. So here you can find we have just got the result as false. And if you are just giving an element, let's say that the element is I, which is not present in Cybrosys. So as you just check for this condition is true and we know I is not present in Cybrosys and you will get the result as true over here. Now let's discuss about an alternative for the in operator. The operators.contains method is an alternative to the membership in operator and is the contain function. This function is a part of the operator module in Python, and this function takes two arguments, and the first one is the sequence and the second one is the value that is to be checked. Here we can find the syntax that is operator.contain, and from there we can just give the sequence and the value that to be checked. And here we will discuss this with an example. So in order to use the contain method, we know that we have to first import the module that is operator. So first step is to import the module operators over here, and here we have just done with that. Now we just need to check a particular element contains in the sequence or not. So here you can find the syntax. So I'll be copying the syntax. So let me copy that and let's provide it over here. So here you can see we have to provide the sequence. So basically I'll be using the sequence as a list which has got some random values over here, and here you can find that. Okay. Now under the value you can also provide the value. Okay. Which means we are checking whether this value contains in the given list or not. Okay. So I'll be providing the value over here. So currently we have passed two arguments. Now I just need to print the result, right? So if I just want to print the result over here, I'll be using the print function. So what I'm going to use is I'll be putting the print function over here. Okay, and let's open the bracket and we can just close the bracket by here. And now let me just rent the file. And here you can see that 9 is an element which does not contain in provided list. Now let's go with 1. As we have the element 1 in the list, here you can find that we have just got the result as true. And now let's move on to the Python identity operators. The Python identity operators are used to check or to compare the object if both the objects are actually of the same data type and share the same memory locations. So there are different identity operators such as is operators and is not operator. So first, let's discuss about the Python is operator. That is, it returns true if both object refers to the same memory locations, else it returns false. So let's say that num1 is one of the variable name and it has got a value 5. So we know this is basically an integer data type, and we are just going to consider the other variable name, that is num2. And here you can find it has got again the value as 5 itself. And we have the other variable that is num3, and it has got some other random integer value that is 10. Now we just need to check the location of the operator. Okay, the variable. So in order to check the location, first we can just go with checking of the address, right? So I'll be using the print function over here, and you can just use the id function in order to check the address. So let's move on with each of the object, that is num1, num2, and num3. And here you can see that I'm just taking everything, and let's copy that and let's change the name of each of the variable over here. So as I just ran the file here, you would be able to find that num1 and num2 is having same memory location. Okay. And num3 is having a different memory locations. So by using the Python is operator, we know that it returns true if both object refers to same memory location, right? So here you can see num is num2. Num1 is num2 basically, and num2 is not num3. So when you just try to get the object of num2 as num3, you will get it as false. And if you're just going with num1 and num2, you will get it as true, as it shares or it has a same memory location. Okay. Now let me check that. That is the is operator. So I'll be going with the print function. So we can say that num1 is, so basically you can use the is operator over here, num2, and let me copy this, and let's say that num1 is not, num1 is num3. So in this case, in first case, we will get the result as true because we know num1 and num2 has the same memory location. But in case of num3, we know it has got different memory location. So in second case, we will get the result as false. And in first case, we will get the result as true. So let me run the file. And here you can find that we have just got the result over here, which is true for num1 is num2 and false for num1 is num3. And now we just would like to go with Python is not operator. So it returns false if both object refers to the same locations, else it returns true. Okay, so here you can consider the same example itself. So let me just copy this as example from here and let's paste it over here. And here we know that if the memory locations are same, then we will get the result as false. Else we will get the result as true. Okay, so here we can say that print num1 is not num3. So you will get the result as true over here. So here you can find that the result is true. Now I'm going to check the other case, that is num1 is not num2. Okay, num1 is not num2. In this case, we already know that num1 and num2 has a same memory location. So here we will get the result as false. Okay, now let's look into the difference between the equality operator and is operator. While comparing the objects in Python, the users often get confused between the equality operator and the identity is operator. The equality operator is used to compare the value of two variables, whereas the identity operator is used to compare the memory locations of the variable. Now let's go with an example. Let's say num1 is equal to 2 and num2 is equal to 2. So we will go with the example by using the is operator and equal to or equality operator. So you can basically use a print function and let's say num1 is num2. So here we can say that num1 is obviously num2, right? Because is operator is basically used for checking that they have the same memory location, right? So in this case, we know num1, the variable name is different, but it has got the same data type and the values are same over here. So in such cases, we know when Python is giving the memory locations, it truly considers the value inside the memory. So if the value inside the memory or inside a particular variable are same, then that would just map to a single memory location. If it's different, then that will be mapping to another address. So in this case, we can say that num1 and num2 has got the same memory. Okay. And in case of equality operator, that are checking whether the left hand side and right hand side are equal or not. Okay. So I'll be using num1 equal to num2. So in both cases, the conditions are satisfied and we will get the result as true. So here you can see, basically, we can say that the memory location of num1 is num2. So that's true. And here num1 is obviously equal to num2 because it has got the same value in the left hand side and right hand side. Okay. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching the video.